Welcome to the Women Seen and Heard podcast. Want to become a more confident presenter and conference speaker? Meet Anita Perez-Ferguson and Lois Phillips, who are the co-authors of the Women Seen and Heard Speakers Journal, and they want to share what they've learned about women's speaking styles from their professional speaking careers. In each weekly podcast, they'll select and take turns responding to one prompt taken from the Speaker's Journal. In the closing moment, they offer a simple single tip you can put to use right away. Enjoy.
Anita, here's a question from our chapter on storytelling and relating. Using a dramatic story to liven up your presentation is known to work well, but it must align with your topic. Select a topic and then think of a personal story that you might share that would be on point. Make sure the story won't have you in tears or giggles as you tell it.
That would be a funny situation to be in, but actually I love to use stories in my presentations. And I always make sure that I am using them in a way to gain the audience's attention. Over the years, I've happened on 2 stories that seem to work with many different topics and audiences. So let me share one of those with you. My husband and I lived in East Africa for 2 years and volunteered in a small school. And during that time, I was able to visit a refugee camp in southern Somalia. It was part of a project that we had donated to over the years. Now, at this point in this story, I would normally go on to describe this refugee camp with 30,000 refugees, but right now I'm just going to skip forward. During my week-long visit to this camp, I accompanied the medical team on daily rounds. It was there, in a tiny hut with a nurse practitioner, where I observed the stillbirth of an infant whose mother was literally sprawled in the dirt. The tragedy of that birth and the conditions in the camp made me decide then and there to return to the States and get involved in public policy to improve the lives of refugees all over the world. That's a story that I've told many times, and it's a true story, but if we take it apart, you can see how several elements can be expanded to relate to an audience. This tells the story of how I got involved in public policy and politics. It makes a point in a very personal way. It tells the group that I'm married, that my husband shares my values, that we volunteer and donate to various causes. It even tells them that education and international issues are 2 of those causes that we support. And finally, I have a real-life experience to share with my audience. I know about the issues I'm speaking about. Following a story with facts and figures about your issue rounds out your presentation. Challenging your audience to take a particular action gives them an outlet for what they have heard. My tip is that when you prepare to deliver your presentation, then remember to tell a personal story that sets up your main message, and then pull out the relevant issues for your audience. Back up that story with facts and figures and make a call to action at the end so that your audience will know what you want them to do. Remember that our podcast schedule is found at Women Seen and Heard on Facebook.